The alarm bells rang across the space station New Horizon as Captain Jiwan rushed to the command center. Her boots clicked against the metal floor while red lights flashed everywhere. The communications officer turned to her with wide eyes. "Captain, we have incoming ships. Lots of them." Jiwan looked at the main screen. Dozens of massive alien vessels moved through space toward Earth. Each ship was 3 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. Their dark hulls gleamed with strange lights, and they moved in perfect formation like a school of deadly fish. "Get me Admiral Minho on Earth," Jiwan ordered, "and wake up everyone on this station." The space station New Horizon was humanity's farthest outpost. It sat at the edge of the solar system, watching for asteroids and deep space threats. Nobody expected to find aliens. Nobody expected the aliens to find them first. Admiral Minho appeared on the screen from Earth Defense Command. His gray hair was messy and his uniform looked like he had put it on quickly. "Jiwan, what's the situation?" "Sir, we have contact. Big contact. I count 47 alien ships moving toward the inner system. They're huge." Minho's face went pale. "Any communication from them?" Before Jiwan could answer, every screen on the station changed. A tall, thin, alien face appeared. Its skin was gray like old metal and its eyes were completely black. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English. "Primitive species of the third planet. I am War Prime Thexval of the Veltharian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You have 1 rotation of your planet to surrender completely. Resist, and we will destroy everything you have built." The message ended. The screens went back to showing the approaching fleet. Captain Sunho's voice came over the radio from his patrol ship. "Did everyone else just see that? Because I think we just got our first alien visitor and he's not very friendly." Jiwan looked at the alien ships again. They were still coming, slow and steady like they had all the time in the world. "Admiral, what are your orders?" Minho was quiet for a long moment. On Earth, Dr. Heejin was already studying the alien broadcast in her lab. She had spent her whole life hoping to meet aliens. Now that it happened, she wished they had been nicer. "The alien ships use technology we don't understand," Dr. Heejin reported to the Emergency Council. "Their language translation is perfect. That means they've been watching us for a while. They know about us, but we know nothing about them." Back on the space station, G1's communication officer tried to contact the alien fleet. "This is Captain G1 of the Earth Defense Corps Space Station New Horizon. Please respond." The alien face appeared again. This time, War Prime Thexval looked annoyed. "You will surrender. All thinking species surrender when they see our power. It is the logical choice." G1 stood up straight. She thought about her daughter back on Earth. She thought about all the people who would die if these aliens took over. Then she made a choice that would change everything. "War Prime Thexval, we acknowledge that you exist. We acknowledge that you have big ships and fancy technology, but we do not acknowledge your right to rule us. Earth belongs to humans." The alien's black eyes seemed to grow even darker. "You do not understand. We have conquered 43 worlds. Every species surrenders when they see our fleet. It is the only reasonable choice." Captain Sunho's voice came over the radio again. "Captain G1, I think our new friend here doesn't understand humans very well." On the alien command ship, War Prime, Thexval turned to his strategic counselor Vexthera. She was smaller than him, with the same gray skin but white markings on her face that showed her rank. "They refuse to surrender," Thexval said. "This has never happened before." Vexthera studied the human responses on her data screens. "Their behavior does not match any previous conquest. Every other species calculated their chances and chose survival. These humans seem to think they can fight us." "They will learn," Thexval said. "Show them what happens to those who resist the Empire." Back on Earth, Admiral Minho called an emergency meeting. Military leaders from every country gathered in the underground command center. The room was full of worried faces and nervous voices. "The duel. Aliens have given us 24 hours to surrender," Minho announced. "I want to know what we're dealing with." Dr. Hyejin stood up with her report. "The aliens call themselves the Veltharian Empire. Their ships are big, but I noticed something strange. They expect us to surrender just because they showed up. That tells me they're used to winning without fighting. Colonel Daiho, the head of ground forces, slammed his hand on the table. So they're bullies. They pick on species that can't fight back. Maybe, Dr. Hygen said, but their technology is real. Those ships could destroy our cities. Engineer Yuna, who worked on Earth's defense systems, spoke up. Our weapons are primitive compared to theirs, but that doesn't mean we're helpless. We just have to be smart about it. On the space station, Captain Jiwan watched the alien fleet get closer. Each ship was beautiful in a deadly way. They moved without making any sound, and their hulls reflected the light from distant stars. Captain, her communications officer said, the aliens are sending another message. War Prime Thexaval appeared on the screen again. This time he looked confused instead of angry. Human Jiwan, your species makes no sense. We offer you a chance to live under our rule. Why do you choose death instead? Jiwan thought about that question. She could see her reflection in the dark screen. She looked small compared to the alien, but she didn't feel small. Because living under your rule isn't really living, she said. It's just existing. Humans don't just exist. We live free or we don't live at all. The alien stared at her for a long moment. You will regret this choice. Maybe, Jiwan said, but it's our choice to make. The communication ended. Around the solar system, human ships began moving into position. They were smaller than the alien vessels. They were weaker too. But they carried something the aliens had never faced before. They carried humans who refused to give up. War Prime Thexval stood on his command bridge and looked at the data about Earth. The planet had 7 billion humans. They had primitive weapons and old technology. By every calculation, they should surrender. Strategic Counselor, he said to Vexathera, prepare for demonstration attack. These humans need to see our power. But as he gave the order, Thexval felt something he had never felt before during a conquest. He felt uncertain. These humans were different from every other species he had conquered. They were not acting like defeated enemies. They were acting like they thought they could win. War Prime Thexval stood on his command bridge and watched Earth grow larger on the main screen. 24 hours had passed since he gave the humans their ultimatum. No surrender message had come. Strategic Counselor Vexathara, he called. Show these humans what happens to those who defy the Empire. The first Veltharian attack began at dawn over the Pacific Ocean. 3 massive alien ships fired bright blue beams at an unmanned research station. The metal structure exploded in Tianduo, a ball of fire that could be seen from space. Then they destroyed 2 asteroid mining facilities and a communications relay. On Earth, Admiral Minho watched the destruction from his command center. The alien weapons were powerful, but something felt wrong about the attack. They're only hitting empty targets, Colonel Daiho observed. No civilian casualties. Dr. Hyejin nodded from her station. They want to scare us, not kill us. They still think we'll surrender if they show off their power. The alien demonstration continued for 2 hours. Every target was carefully chosen, important enough to show their strength but empty enough to avoid mass death. War Prime Thexval expected fear and surrender messages. Instead, he got something completely different. Captain Sunho's voice came over the emergency frequency from his patrol ship Defiant. All Earth defense units, this is Captain Sunho. The aliens just showed us what they can do. Now let's show them what we can do. Lieutenant Jamin was the first to respond. His fighter squadron had been hiding behind one of Jupiter's moons. Sunho, we're moving to intercept. All fighters follow my lead. The Veltharians detected 12 small human ships approaching their fleet. On the alien command bridge, Vexathara looked at the scanner readings and blinked her large black eyes. War Prime, the humans are attacking us. Thexaval couldn't believe what he was hearing. Attacking? With those tiny ships? Do they not understand the difference in our power? The human fighters were small and fast. Lieutenant Jamin led them in a wild attack pattern that the alien computers couldn't predict. The Veltharian ships were built to fight other large vessels in organized formations. They weren't ready for 12 crazy humans flying attack runs. Like angry wasps, Jamin's fighter fired its missile at a Veltharian patrol ship. The weapon was primitive compared to alien technology, but it hit its target. The explosion damaged the alien ship's hull and sent it spinning. First blood to humanity, Jamin shouted over the radio. More human ships began arriving. Captain Nari brought her destroyer Thunder from behind Mars. Engineer Yuna had spent all night modifying its weapons with new targeting systems. Colonel Deho launched ground-based missiles from hidden silos on Earth. But the real shock came when one of Jamin's fighters got hit by alien fire. The small ship's engines died and it began falling toward a Veltharian cruiser. Instead of ejecting, the pilot did something that made every alien on every ship stop and stare. He rammed his dead fighter into the alien hull. The impact was small compared to the size of the Veltharian ship, but it sent a message that reached every alien mind in the fleet. These humans would rather die fighting than live as prisoners. War Prime Thexval felt something cold in his chest. In 43 previous conquests, no species had ever done anything like that. When their ships were damaged, they surrendered. When they faced certain death, they gave up. These humans just kept fighting. Strategic counselor, he said to Vexithara, what is your analysis of human behavior? Vexithara studied her screens full of data. War Prime, I cannot find any surrender response in their tactical pattern. Every action they take assumes they will continue fighting until victory or death. That's impossible. Every thinking species has a survival instinct that overrides pride. Not these humans, War Prime. The battle continued for 6 hours. The humans lost many ships, but they never stopped coming. Every time the aliens destroyed a human vessel, 2 more appeared to take its place. Admiral Minho was coordinating the defense from Earth, sending ships from every direction. Major Taihyun led the ground forces preparing for invasion. His soldiers were digging trenches and setting up weapons in the mountains of Korea. They had studied the alien ships and calculated that the big vessels couldn't land on rough terrain. The aliens would have to send smaller ships, and that would give humans a fighting chance. Dr. Soman worked in her underground laboratory, analyzing pieces of destroyed alien ships that had fallen to Earth. Every fragment told her something about Veltharian technology. It was advanced, but it followed patterns she could understand. Their weapons are powerful, she reported to Admiral Minho, but they're designed for overwhelming weak opponents quickly. I don't think they're built for long fights. Captain Jiwon watched the battle from her space station. She had moved New Horizon closer to Earth to help coordinate the defense. Her communications officer was tracking every human ship and every alien movement. Captain, the officer said, we're getting reports from all over the solar system. Human colonies on Mars, mining stations in the asteroid belt, research posts near Saturn. They're all mobilizing to fight. Jiwon smiled. The aliens wanted to conquer humanity. Instead, they united us. On the Veltharian command ship, War Prime Thexval was growing frustrated. The human resistance should have collapsed by now. Every previous species had seen his power and chosen to surrender rather than face destruction. These humans seemed to get stronger the longer they fought. Damage report, he ordered. 7 ships damaged, 2 patrol vessels destroyed, came the reply. Human losses are much higher, but they continue attacking. Thexval turned to Vexithara. In all our previous conquests, how long did the fighting last after our demonstration of power? Never more than 3 hours, War Prime. Most species surrendered within 1 hour. It has been 6 hours and these humans show no sign of stopping. Lieutenant Jamin's voice came over human radio frequencies as he led another attack run. His fighter was damaged and smoking, but he was still flying. All human ships, remember what we're fighting for. Remember who's counting on us. These aliens think we'll quit just because they have bigger guns. Let's show them they're wrong. The human fighters regrouped and attacked again. This time, Captain Nari's destroyer managed to get close enough to fire directly at a Veltharian cruiser. The alien ship's shields held, but the impact shook the entire vessel. Inside that cruiser, alien crew members looked at each other with something they had never felt during a conquest. They felt worried. These humans fought like they thought they could actually win. War Prime Thexval made a decision that would change everything. All ships withdraw to the outer system. We need to reassess our strategy. As the Veltharian fleet pulled back, humans across the solar system cheered. They had faced the alien war machine and survived. More than that, they had made the aliens retreat. But Thexval wasn't retreating. He was thinking. These humans were different from every other species he had conquered. They didn't calculate odds of survival. They didn't weigh the cost of resistance against the benefits of surrender. They just fought, like fighting was the only choice they understood. For the first time in his long career of conquest, War Prime Thexval wondered if he had made a mistake. The humans were supposed to be easy prey. Instead, they might be the most dangerous enemy the Veltharian Empire had ever faced. 6 months into the war, engineer Yuna made the discovery that would change everything. She stood in her laboratory beneath the mountains of Korea, staring at the pieces of alien technology spread across her workbench. After months of study, she finally understood what she was looking at. "Dr. Soman," she called to her colleague, "you need to see this." Dr. Soman hurried over to examine Yuna's findings. The captured alien power crystal glowed softly under the laboratory lights, connected to human testing equipment by dozens of wires. "The Veltharian technology is incredibly advanced," Yuna explained, "but it has a critical weakness. It's designed for quick victories against opponents who surrender fast. They never built their systems to handle long battles." She pointed to stress fractures in the alien crystal. "Look at this. After 6 hours of continuous use, their power systems start to break down. Their weapons overheat after sustained firing. Their shields weaken during extended combat." Dr. Soman understood immediately. They've never fought a war that lasted more than a few days. Their technology isn't built for the kind of fighting we're giving them. This discovery reached Admiral Minho within hours. In his command center beneath Seoul, he studied the technical reports with growing excitement. For the first time since the war began, humanity had found a real advantage. "Get me Captain Jiwan on the space station," Minho ordered, "and contact every resistance cell we have. It's time for Operation Defiance." Captain Jiwan received the orders while New Horizon orbited Earth's moon. Her space station had become the coordination center for human forces throughout the solar system. The main screen showed the positions of every human ship and every alien vessel. "All units, this is Captain Jiwan," she broadcast. "Operation Defiance begins in 6 hours. We're going to show these aliens what happens when they pick a fight with humanity." The plan was ambitious, beyond anything humans had attempted before. Instead of small raids and guerrilla attacks, Operation Defiance would be a coordinated strike using every human ship and weapon in the solar system. The goal was not just to hurt the aliens, but to capture their command ship and War Prime Thexval himself. Colonel Deho led the ground phase of the operation. His special forces had been training for months to fight in zero gravity aboard alien ships. They practiced with captured Veltharian weapons and studied alien ship layouts until they could navigate them blindfolded. "Remember," Deho told his soldiers, "the aliens don't expect us to board their command ship. They think their technology makes them untouchable. Today we prove them wrong." Captain Sunho had rebuilt his fleet around the captured alien supply ship. Human engineers had modified it with Earth weapons and human control systems. It looked alien from the outside, but inside it was purely human. "All ships, this is Captain Sunho," he announced. "We've been fighting this warship by ship, battle by battle. Today we fight it as one united force. Today we win." The attack began with Lieutenant Jamin's fighter squadrons hitting alien patrol ships throughout the outer system. The strikes were carefully timed to draw Veltharian forces away from their main fleet. Each attack looked like another random human raid. War Prime Thexval responded exactly as the humans hoped. He sent ships to chase Jamin's fighters, weakening his central defenses. "These humans never learn," he told Strategic Counselor Vexithara. "Destroy those fighters." But Jamin wasn't trying to win his battles. He was trying to keep the alien ships busy while the real attack developed. His fighters led the pursuing Veltharian vessels on a wild chase through the asteroid belt, staying just close enough to keep them interested. Meanwhile, Captain Nari brought her destroyer Thunder and 12 other human ships up from the opposite direction. They had been hiding behind Jupiter for days, waiting for this moment. The alien sensors detected them too late. All ships, target the command vessel, Nari ordered. Ignore everything else. We're going for the head of the snake. The human attack hit the Veltharian command ship from 6 directions at once. The aliens had superior weapons and stronger shields, but they were not prepared for humans who fought with no regard for their own safety. Commander Minju led her cruiser Freedom in a kamikaze run that destroyed her ship, but crippled an alien battlecruiser. Her sacrifice opened a gap in the alien formation that Captain Sunho's forces exploited immediately. The modified alien supply ship that Sunho commanded was the key to the entire operation. It looked like a Veltharian vessel to alien sensors, so it got close to the command ship before anyone realized it was full of humans. Boarding teams, go, Sunho ordered. Colonel Daeho and his special forces launched from hidden compartments in the captured ship. They flew across space in small pods, landing on the alien command vessel's hull like deadly rain. Their cutting tools opened holes in the alien armor, and within minutes human soldiers were fighting inside the most important ship in the Veltharian fleet. War Prime Thexaval felt his command ship shake under the human attack. How are they doing? This? He demanded. Their ships are inferior. Vexthara studied her tactical displays with growing alarm. War Prime, the humans are not fighting to win individual battles. They are fighting to accomplish specific objectives regardless of cost. What do you mean? They are sacrificing ships and crews to position other units for attacks. They treat their own lives as acceptable losses to achieve victory. This was exactly what the human boarding teams were doing inside the alien ship. Daeho's soldiers fought through corridors designed for creatures taller and stronger than humans. They used their smaller size and desperate courage to overcome alien defenders who had never faced such an assault. We need to reach the command center, Daeho told his team over their radio. Whatever it takes, we get to their leader. The fighting was brutal. Alien security forces had better weapons and armor, but they were confused by human tactics. The human soldiers didn't retreat when they should. They didn't surrender when they were outnumbered. They just kept fighting until they won or died. On the bridge of his command ship, War Prime Thexval realized his defenses were failing. These humans had done something no enemy had ever accomplished. They had boarded and captured parts of a Veltharian command vessel. Strategic Counselor, he said to Vexithera, prepare my personal escape pod. But it was too late. Colonel Daeho's team had fought their way to the command center. The blast doors that should have protected the alien leaders were designed to stop conventional weapons, not human soldiers carrying improvised explosives. War Prime Thexval, Daeho announced as his team surrounded the alien commander. You are now a prisoner of humanity. The capture of the Veltharian leader sent shockwaves through both fleets. Alien ships throughout the solar system began pulling back, unsure what to do without their commander. Human forces pressed their advantage, capturing 2 more alien vessels before the retreat was complete. But the most important prize was Strategic Counselor Vexthera. Dr. Hyejin interrogated the alien strategist in a secure facility on Earth, using translation software captured from Veltharian computers. Tell me about your empire, Dr. Hyejin demanded. How many worlds have you really conquered? Vexithara had spent months studying human behavior. She understood now that these creatures were different from every other species the Empire had faced. She also understood that continued resistance was pointless. 43 worlds, she admitted. But most surrendered after seeing our fleet. Only 7 required actual military action, and those wars lasted no more than days. So you've never fought a real war before? Not like this. No species has ever continued fighting for months. No species has ever captured our command personnel. Your people do not behave like any intelligent life form we have encountered. Dr. Hyejin leaned forward. That's because you've been conquering civilizations that could be intimidated. Humans don't intimidate. We get angry. The information from Vexithara revealed the truth about the Veltharian Empire. It was built on fear and reputation, not actual military power. Their conquest had been achieved through psychological warfare against species that could be frightened into surrender. But humans couldn't be frightened into giving up. The harder the aliens pushed, the harder humans pushed back. Admiral Minho broadcast this information to resistance fighters across the galaxy. If other conquered species learned that the Veltharian Empire could be beaten, they might start their own rebellions. The war was entering a new phase. Humanity had proven that the aliens could be defeated. Now it was time to prove that they could be driven away completely. 3 months had passed since the first battle, and the war had become something War Prime Thexval never expected. The Veltharian fleet controlled the space around Earth, but the humans refused to stay defeated. Major Tae-hyun crouched in a mountain cave in Korea, studying maps of alien patrol routes. His guerrilla fighters had been attacking Veltharian ground forces for weeks. The aliens had superior weapons and armor, but they didn't understand how to fight an enemy that wouldn't stand still and face them in open battle. The aliens send the same patrol every day at the same time, Tae-hyun told his soldiers. They follow the same path, use the same formation. They're so used to winning easily that they never learn to adapt. Sergeant Kyung nodded as he checked his improvised explosive device. They think like conquerors, not like soldiers. The human fighters had learned to hit fast and disappear. They would attack an alien patrol, destroy one vehicle, and vanish into the mountains before reinforcements arrived. It wasn't enough to win the war, but it was enough to frustrate the aliens who expected quick, total victory. In her underground laboratory, Dr. Soman had been studying captured Veltharian technology for months. Every destroyed alien ship gave her more pieces to analyze. What she found surprised her. Admiral Minho, she reported over secure communication. The alien technology is advanced, but it's not as flexible as ours. Their weapons are designed to do one thing very well: destroy large targets quickly. They don't adapt to new situations. Engineer Yuna worked beside Dr. Soman, trying to understand alien power systems. Look at this energy crystal from their patrol ship. It's incredibly efficient, but it only works one way. Our batteries are weaker, but we can modify them for different uses. This difference was showing up everywhere. The aliens had better shields, but humans learned to attack from angles the shields didn't cover. Alien ships were faster, but human pilots found ways to use asteroids and planetary gravity to outmaneuver them. Captain Nari had become an expert at this kind of fighting. Her destroyer Thunder was scarred from dozens of battles, but she had learned to use its smaller size as an advantage. While alien ships tried to line up for perfect shots, Nari would dart in close where their big guns couldn't target her. The aliens fight like they're in a parade, she told her crew after another successful raid. Everything has to be perfect and organized. When we mess up their formation, they don't know what to do. Commander Minju had discovered something even more important. The aliens couldn't stop human communications. The Veltharian jamming systems were designed to block the organized military broadcasts they had faced before. Human resistance fighters used everything from old radio equipment to hand signals to coordinate attacks. They're trying to cut off our head, Minju explained to a gathering of resistance leaders. They expect us to collapse if they can stop our central command, but we don't fight like that. Every human unit can think for itself. The aliens were learning this the hard way. When they destroyed a command post, the humans would just set up another one. When they jammed radio frequencies, humans would switch to different ones. When they captured human officers, other humans would step up to take their place. War Prime Thexval studied battle reports from across the conquered territories. Nothing was going according to plan. Strategic Counselor Vexathara explained to me why these humans continued to resist after 3 months of occupation. Vexathara had been analyzing human behavior since the war began. Her reports grew more disturbing every day. War Prime, I believe we have encountered a species with no surrender instinct. In previous conquests, resistance ended when the native species calculated that continued fighting was pointless. Humans appear incapable of making this calculation. That's impossible. Every intelligent species understands basic survival mathematics. Not these humans, War Prime. They treat every battle as if victory is possible, regardless of odds. This was exactly what Lieutenant Gemin was proving in space. His fighter squadron had been rebuilt 3 times after taking heavy losses, but he kept finding new ways to attack alien ships. Today he was leading a desperate mission to capture an alien supply vessel. "Remember, everyone," Jamin told his pilots, "we don't need to destroy it. We just need to get close enough for Captain Sunho to board it." The plan was insane by any reasonable standard. Captain Sunho would use a small transport ship to dock with a moving alien vessel, while fighter cover kept enemy ships away. No military academy would teach such a risky operation, but humans had stopped worrying about military academies. They were making up new tactics as they fought. Sunho's transport ship approached the alien supply vessel from its blind spot. The Veltharian ship was huge compared to the human transport, like a whale next to a fish. But Sunho had studied alien ship designs for months. He knew where their sensors couldn't reach. "Docking in 30 seconds, Sunho announced. "Jamin, keep those patrol ships busy." The fighter battle that followed lit up space with weapons fire. Jamin's squadron dodged between alien ships, drawing their attention away from Sunho's boarding operation. 2 human fighters were destroyed, but they accomplished their mission. Sunho and his boarding team cut through the alien hull and fought their way inside. The Veltharian crew had never faced boarders before. Their ship was designed to fight other vessels, not armed humans running through the corridors. Within an hour, the alien supply ship belonged to humanity. War Prime Thexval received the report of the lost vessel with growing alarm. "How did primitive humans capture one of our ships? They use tactics that are not in our combat databases," Vexthara replied. "Their attack patterns do not follow any logical military doctrine." "What do you mean?" "They attacked a target they could not destroy with weapons they could not win with, using a plan that should not have worked. By all calculations, the mission should have failed. But it didn't fail. No, War Prime. It succeeded because humans do not accept the concept of impossible. On Earth, the captured alien ship was being studied by every scientist Dr. Soman could find. Engineer Yuna led teams of technicians through the alien corridors, mapping every system and component. "This is incredible," Yuna reported to Admiral Minho. "Their technology is more advanced than ours, but it's built by people who never expected to fight a real war. Everything is designed for overwhelming weak opponents, not for actual combat." Dr. Hiejin made an even more important discovery when she studied the alien computer systems. "Admiral, I've found communication records. The Veltharian Empire isn't what it appears to be." "What do you mean?" "Most of their conquered worlds surrendered without fighting. The aliens have been building their reputation on fear, not actual military power. They've never faced a species that fought back this hard." This information spread quickly through the human resistance. If the aliens were not as powerful as they seemed, then humanity had a real chance to win. Major Taihyun used this knowledge to plan bigger operations. Instead of just harassing alien patrols, his guerrilla fighters began targeting alien communication centers and supply depots. Each successful attack proved that the Veltharian forces could be beaten. The aliens were learning this too, but they didn't know how to respond. Their entire strategy was based on quick conquest through overwhelming force. They had never planned for a long war against an enemy that refused to quit. War Prime Thexval found himself in an impossible position. He couldn't retreat without admitting failure to the Empire. He couldn't advance without taking massive casualties against an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with every battle. For the first time in his military career, he didn't know what to do next. The interrogation of strategic counselor Vexithara had revealed more than anyone expected. Dr. Hiejin sat across from the alien prisoner in the underground facility, reviewing the shocking intelligence they had gathered over the past weeks. "Tell me about the Catharian rebellion," Dr. Hiejin said, reading from her notes. Vexithara's large black eyes showed something that might have been embarrassment. "The Catharians were our most recent conquest before Earth. They surrendered after we destroyed 3 of their cities, but they're fighting again now, aren't they?" "Yes. After they received your broadcasts about human resistance, they began attacking our occupation forces. We have lost control of 2 Catharian worlds." Dr. Hiejin smiled. This was the news Admiral Minho had been hoping for. Humanity's defiance was inspiring other conquered species to rebel against the Veltharian Empire. How many other worlds are in rebellion? Vexthara was quiet for a long moment. 14 worlds have active resistance movements. 8 more have. Stop sending tribute to the Empire. The humans have created something we have never faced before, a war on multiple fronts. In his command center on Earth, Admiral Minho studied reports from across the galaxy. Human radio broadcasts were reaching conquered worlds throughout Veltharian space. The message was simple. The Empire could be beaten. Dr. Soman. Minho called to his science advisor. What's the status of our technology upgrades? Dr. Soman approached, with a tablet full of technical data. The captured Veltharian equipment has revolutionized our capabilities. Engineer Yuna's team has successfully integrated alien power systems with human weapons. Our new ships are faster and stronger than anything we've built before. This was the result of months of reverse engineering. Human scientists had not just copied alien technology, they had improved it. Veltharian systems were powerful but inflexible. Human modifications made them adaptable and reliable. Major Tae-hyun was seeing the results firsthand. His guerrilla forces now carried weapons that could penetrate alien armor. His communications equipment could reach resistance fighters on other worlds. For the first time since the war began, humans had technological advantages. The aliens built their technology for quick wars against weak opponents, Tae-hyun explained to his soldiers. We've modified it for long wars against determined enemies. Their own weapons work better in human hands. Captain Nari was proving this in space combat. Her destroyer Thunder had been rebuilt with a hybrid of human and alien systems. The ship was smaller than Veltharian vessels, but it was faster and more maneuverable than anything in the alien fleet. All human ships, this is Captain Nari, she broadcast during a raid on alien supply lines. Remember, their big ships can't turn as fast as we can. Use your speed and stay close to them. Make them afraid to fire their own weapons. This tactic was working across the solar system. Human pilots had learned to fight inside the alien formations, where the big Veltharian ships couldn't target them without hitting each other. The aliens had never faced an enemy that used their own size against them. But the most important development was happening on the captured alien command ship. Captain Sunho had claimed the vessel as his flagship, and human engineers were learning secrets that the Empire had kept hidden for centuries. Admiral Minho, Sunho reported, you need to see what we found in their navigation computers. The data was staggering. The Veltharian Empire claimed to control hundreds of worlds, but the real number was much smaller. Most of their conquered territories were actually empty space or worlds that had never been visited. They've been lying about the size of their empire, Dr. Heejin realized when she studied the navigation data. Half their claimed territory doesn't exist. Engineer Yuna made an even more important discovery in the alien computer systems. Look at this, she told Admiral Minho. The Veltharian fleet around Earth represents nearly half their total military force. They're not a vast empire. They're a small power that looks big. This information changed everything. If the aliens had concentrated most of their strength at Earth, then their other territories were weakly defended. The rebellions on conquered worlds suddenly had a real chance of success. Commander Minju coordinated the effort to contact rebel groups across the galaxy. Using captured Veltharian communication equipment, human operators sent detailed instructions on resistance tactics to every conquered world they could reach. This is Commander Minju of the Earth Resistance, she broadcast. The Veltharian Empire can be defeated. We have captured their command ship and learned their weaknesses. Fight back, and we will help you win. The response was immediate. Rebellion erupted on dozens of worlds as conquered species realized they outnumbered their occupiers. The Veltharian Empire's carefully maintained image of invincible power crumbled as the truth spread. War Prime Thexval sat in his prison cell on Earth receiving reports of the Empire's collapse. Each message brought news of another world in rebellion, another Veltharian fleet retreating, another conquest lost. Your empire is falling apart, Dr. Heejin told him during their daily interrogation session. Your own strategic counselor confirmed it. The Veltharian Empire was built on fear, and humans aren't afraid anymore. Thexval's gray skin seemed to have grown paler during his imprisonment. You do not understand what you have done. The Empire maintained order across the galaxy. Without us, there will be chaos. Maybe, Dr. Hagen replied. But it will be free chaos, not enslaved order. The war around Earth was reaching its climax. The remaining Veltharian forces were trapped between human fleets and the rebellions spreading across their empire. Lieutenant Jamin led daily raids against alien positions while Colonel Deho's ground forces recaptured territory the aliens had occupied. They're running out of options, Captain Sunho observed from his captured alien flagship. They can't retreat without abandoning their invasion. They can't advance without taking massive casualties, and they can't stay here while their empire burns. The final blow came when Captain Nari intercepted a desperate Veltharian transmission. The alien fleet was requesting reinforcements from the Empire's homeworlds, but the response was devastating. No reinforcements available, the alien high command replied. All fleets engaged with rebellion suppression. Earth expedition must resolve situation with existing forces. Admiral Minho smiled when he heard this message. They're on their own now. No help is coming. The psychological impact on the Veltharian forces was immediate. These aliens had never fought without the backing of their vast empire. Learning that they were abandoned broke their morale completely. Dr. Somin made one final discovery that sealed the Empire's fate. In the deepest files of the alien computers, she found the truth about Veltharian military doctrine. Admiral, she reported, their entire strategy is based on never fighting a real war. Every battle plan assumes the enemy will surrender quickly. They have no protocols for extended combat, no procedures for fighting determined opponents, so they literally don't know how to fight a war. Not the kind of war we've been giving them. They're improvising everything, and they're not very good at it. This explained why human tactics had been so effective. The aliens were not just facing superior human determination. They were facing it with military doctrines that had never been tested against serious resistance. The Veltharian Empire had conquered 43 worlds without ever learning how to fight. Now they faced an enemy that refused to be conquered, and they had no idea what to do. War Prime Thexval received his final report from the fleet commanders around Earth. Half his ships were damaged or destroyed. His remaining forces were outnumbered by human vessels equipped with improved alien technology. Rebellions were spreading across every world the Empire controlled. Strategic Counselor Vexithara was correct, he admitted to Dr. Hyejin. Humans are unlike any species we have encountered. You treat impossible odds as merely another tactical challenge. We don't believe in impossible, Dr. Hyejin replied. We just believe in trying harder. The war that was supposed to last one day had continued for over a year. The empire that was supposed to last forever was crumbling, and the humans who were supposed to surrender had instead taught the galaxy how to fight back. The Veltharian Empire's greatest mistake was not underestimating human technology or human numbers. Their mistake was underestimating the human refusal to accept defeat.